It's been weird. I actually had to play it a little bit before last night, way into the night, because of the fact that it's set up different, and you'll see what I mean. Like, the store was way different, everything's pretty much different, the tractor's handled different. It's very weird and concerning a little bit, feel-wise. It's, almost fluid. It's just, I'm not used to it. I'm used to Farming Simulator being arcade in a way, being, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. It is a good game. It feels different. Feels way different. So, guess we'll start. I'm gonna do Farm Manager. I'm not gonna do New Farmer. I'm not gonna do Start from Scratch either. Gonna switch it over to the Wilson Trailers hat. They have a lot of hats. They have a hat for every, there it is, every brand. So, probably go that way. Continue. So, it's different. It feels more fluid, like I said. The tractors, they feel more fluid. Hello. Hello. Of course, the dog has to come in and put its 2 cents worth in. Okay, now, go out. You're knocking my desk around. Go out. Go on. Leave. Leave back to where you came, dog. Go on. Go on. No, don't sit up. Go on. Alright, so here we go. My channel focuses on a little bit of a live kind of thing, because I'm not good at editing. So, just first things first. We'll buy some property. Buy some property, switch to lands, buy here. And, go. We got land. We'll put up a shed for our tractors and such. I don't know why, but it always has it facing the opposite direction of where you're facing for like sheds and stuff. So make sure you have the shed oriented if you want to tip. You know, make sure you have the shed oriented, because it's different. You do not have to have a silo or a farmhouse. I don't know what that was all about, really, because I didn't get it on launch. and no one will answer me because you're not a real YouTuber yet, so let's see here. So something that I want to point out is these are all different, all 4 of these, where it used to be like, I think subsoilers, cultivators, and disc harrows were in cultivators. And we had plows, and we had there was that one thing that was like a wood grinder on 17 that could be counted as a power harrow, I guess, but yeah. Sprayers are no more. They're called crop protection. I guess there's a difference between planters and seeders. I haven't really looked at planters. I think planters are ones that you need to cultivate first. So planters are like for corn, I guess, and sunflowers and stuff. Seeders are for the rest. I particularly used that one. That's a good one to start with. You just got to remember, like on it, you can see where the wheels are on it. I can't zoom in because I'm not good at editing. I'm not Mr. CLAP or anything. But you can look and you can see kind of underneath that the planter is towards the middle a little more and the wheels stick out. I made the mistake and ended up with little gaps, just little gaps in between rows that I planted last night, and I couldn't figure out, why are these lines in the field? Duh, it's like the lawnmower that you can never get to cut just right to where it doesn't leave strips. So anyway, I like how they had the coon system come back. I loved using this. I had no regrets for buying the coon pack on 17. They have a big stera. I guess seeders are basically, they cultivate and seed, kind of, with no plowing or cultivating necessary, except this one apparently. Figures just when I say it, proves me wrong. I had never even heard of Vaderstad making these before. I actually Googled it because I was like, is it a real product? Because sometimes in simulator games you'll end up with someone doing something, but it's big. We'll get there eventually, probably, for the bigger fields. Tractors, as promised, small, medium, large category, not by horsepower. Trucks are interesting.
Pick up under?
Yes, and I'm streaming. Yeah, so the trucks are relatively nice. I looked through them. The Warrior is the truck that I used. I did not like the horn on it. Phoenix, as usual, from Tetra. It's been in 3 games now. I'm surprised I haven't dropped it. As usual, the Man. Then they have... So I think what this is I think the Warrior on the very left is a International. And this one is a Freightliner. Heavy haul. Day cab, and then this one's a regular Freightliner. I don't know. Usually they change them just enough to where you can't really tell. I like how they included the Bison. I like the little combines to start out with. They're nice. As promised, John Deere. At first, when I started the game, for whatever reason, the bigger John Deere combine was not on here. I swear, I wish I was recording to show it, but it was so late in the night that I was barely able to hold my eyes open, because I was busy, like, taking notes and stuff, because that's what I do. But yeah, I thought it was just the little John Deere combine. Was kind of sad, and then it loaded. I updated the game fully, and it was in there, so I don't know why. The AGCO, I wish they would just call these models what they are. They're just variances of AGCO. These two, they're all made in the same plant. Whereas, like, John Deere owns their own facility. I swear, I've seen it, I've Google Earthed it. You can too after a little bit of research. I won't get into it. But AGCO makes the New Holland CR1090 and the Axle Flow 9240. I swear. Because I've seen all three of these parked outside that plant at one point or another. But anyway, the cotton picker. There we go, we'll call that what it is. I like how they put this truck in forestry. I actually like it. It's a nice inclusion. I don't know if you can attach a dolly to the trailer, or the back of the truck rather. Of course you can attach a dolly to a trailer. To the back of the truck, we got the Komatsu, the Buffalo, I guess the Komatsu is called the 875, then the little saw, the new Komatsu 93, or 931XC, and then the Scorpion King. They look the same to me. Animals. You're going to start to notice something about the store. If it's self-propelled and you can drive it, it's under the tractor logo. If it's on trailer or accessory, it's under the trailer logo. The tag is sales. The crate is objects, including what I like, being able to buy bales, and silage goes to where you almost make no profit, hopefully. Otherwise I'm going to have a hard time not abusing that, because I always have a hard time doing that. You do not need a farmhouse. Like I said earlier, I've been playing and playing and playing. Farmhouse allows you to skip through the night, which I never really do to begin with. So, for some reason there's a sandcastle in there. I think somebody was just goofing off and honestly forgot to remove it. So, landscaping. I will have a complete separate video on that in the future that I will not save. I will turn autosave off and I will goof around with that. Because honestly, I like the map the way it is. Like it says in the description of the video, hopefully, if I did it right, I think I did. This is just us goofing off and setting up the farm in this episode. Probably not going to be a whole lot of farming. What I like is they fixed the problem between the difference between the sunflower header and the corn header. Corn header, you get a little bit less sunflowers. I actually like that. If you use corn header on sunflowers, speech is not my best point. If I knew sign language, I could probably sign it to you better than speak it. So, I don't know, I'm probably the only American that failed English. Yeah, so the corn header. The auger wagon. I love this. I absolutely love this. The one on the left. The seed runner that you can pull behind your truck, as in a pickup. Absolutely love it. The grain carts. It's too blue, I can't really read it. I think it said Kinze. Kinze. For 7,000 liters, there's pretty much a lot of a horsepower requirement difference. Then we got the big, I think that says Elmer's Manufacturing. That's the big one that everybody went nuts over. Sugarcane technology. Interesting. I'll goof around with that and then I'll probably stream. I haven't looked at this, but I hope the back of the little one to the right of the big yellow trailer here for random has a trailer hitch on the back. That way I can do like a road train. Because if I can't pull doubles, I normally don't use it. The crown jewel that I went nuts over, I couldn't wait for it. I had to put the hat on for the first episode. I'm surprised they included Load King, because usually Load King's trailers do not get along with Wilson. That is a real company. I've seen their flatbeds. Pace Setter, Wilson trailer. Wilson trailer. The Pace Setter, $80,000. Most of the farmers around here use these. I've grown up around them. They're nice. I like how somebody modded a articulated version of the smaller Stratman all the way over here. That one. I like that. That way you can use a little tractor and actually be able to use it. I hope more of the I'm going to butcher this, the Fortschritte brand comes back through mods and stuff. I don't know, maybe they'll have a DLC pack. I like the old Combine and I like the Swather. It was under Forage Harvester in 17, but it's a Swather. I won't be doing potatoes or beets in the beginning at all, because that's a big field thing. You need a big field of potatoes and beets to do and make money. But what I noticed on a gameplay is they changed the harvesters a little bit. So it's off to the side of you to where you can only attack it by going up the sides of the trailer. Or not the trailer, the field, not the trailer. On both of these, which I like. Plows, subsoilers, power harrows, disc harrows, cultivators. Fertilizer, I like how they included lime. I haven't limed a field yet, other than in the it'll come to me. Trainer is what I call it. Yeah. I like how the horse trailer is different than the other animal trailers. I like how they included the Wilson trailer. I think if you go into it, no, you can't cultivate the headboard. It always says Wilson. So you can't put, like, for me, SB cattle or anything like that. One thing that I noticed, and I can't remember which category it is in. Which one is it? Well, we have the rollers. Ah, there. It is there. So for some of the smaller tractors, I think they don't have a 3-point attacher, and they included a adapter for it. I actually like it. It's nice. I've never used these. I probably will this game, because Farming Simulator 17, there was almost no need. Like, I would always end up either using the small combines where you didn't actually need a header trailer, or ending up jumping straight to the large ones with like the axle flow headers where the trailer was all in one. Low loaders, there's only one, and it's the extending one, which I don't understand why they didn't include, like, I think it was the Strassman, the little orange trailer, or... Hello, CLD Truth. Hello. Mowers are mowers. I like them. Kind of bummed that these two weren't in the base game. I like these a lot more than the Pottinger because they were red and white versus yellow and red. The Kuhn side mower is cool. I like how they included the New Holland disc vine 313. Ooh, spooky number, yeah. Trigger warning. I had somebody comment on one of my videos last night and I read it. You said the number 13 without a trigger warning. What? When was that a thing again? Are there that many superstitious people? Are you the people that don't go out on Friday the 13th? I'm just wondering. I'm not trying to make fun of you, although I always sound like I do. You people who go out on Friday the 13th with a helmet on, kind of thing, wearing pads and stuff. I don't get it. It's another number. It comes after 12 and it comes before 14. So I like how they have the bigger mower in its own category, but at the same time I don't see why mowers should have been. I guess it's because it's self-propelled. Yeah, here's the bigger potato harvester and the bigger beet harvesters. What I like is that they included a sweeper version of this. So like, well, we had this in the base game, I think the Terrafellis 3 from Homer, and I used it for beets. But if we go over here to miscellaneous, we have a forklift, the Manito, yeah. And then we have the Ropa, which we can collect grains that have been spilt and other stuff. So I actually like that. Skid steer loaders. Here's the thing, like, skid steer loaders, I don't get why we have skid steers. Well, I guess I do, because like skid steers and we can attach bucket or something like that. But I don't get why we have loading prongs for these if we have a forklift. I mean, like, last night when I was goofing off with this thing, the forklift, I used it more than the skid steer. I don't know, I guess it's personal preference, two birds with one stone kind of thing, but I've always, if you're gonna pick up pallets and stuff, I've always thought you should use a forklift. So we'll go through small tractors. The Fiat from the one trailer, I absolutely loved it. The small tractors, I like how they made sure that this one was in the game. I remember that there was talk about the Lindtrak 90 from Lindner, that it wasn't going to be in the game for some reason. It was going to be like a season pass, kind of like what they did with the John Deere Gator, which I know that probably annoyed a lot of people. Armatrack was a company that I had never heard of before. It might have been in Platinum Edition DLC, which was why I hadn't heard of it before, because I don't buy the Platinum. I did it on Farming Simulator 19 a very long time ago, but it wasn't that good getting Sosnovica. Let me put it this way. The DLC with the Rustle Mash Neva, the little itty-bitty combine, what I called the micro machine, little dude, I used it more than I used the expansion DLC for, I think it was Platinum. All the other tractors, the mods and stuff that I downloaded. Medium tractors, I think this is where we get into John Deere. One thing that I want to point out, when you write Pro up the side of something, do you think that should make it cost more? Because I honestly don't. I don't get it. I guess writing Pro on something makes it worth more. Here's the smallest John Deere that I've found in the game. The 6M series. 119,000. It's not worth starting off with this thing. I don't know why certain players have. I started off with this thing last night, and I'll probably do it again. The JCB Fast Track 4220. Then we got the bigger 6R series, Blue Power. I was bummed, and the reason why I was bummed is because I found this, and if you go out and buy this game, I found a Day 1 edition on the shelf at Walmart, and it was actually a whole row of them, and I guess Walmart didn't have good sales or something, because a bunch of these were on the shelf, and then they had the regular edition ones behind it, and it was at the regular price. And when you open this up, you end up with 2 of these pamphlets, and here's the one for Blue Power. And then here's the other one for the brown Mahindra, or not brown, black Mahindra Retriever. Move it closer for you. You can't download that. They took it off the store. Why did they not, take the copies back? Why have they not forced stores to remove it, And you got into the big tractors. Skip through most of these. We got the 8RT series. We got Challenger, which is Cat. It's just Canadian, I think. Then we got the 2 big buds. But yeah, forage harvesters, I hope they fixed the pipe problem, because if you recall, if you played 17, if you were like blowing chaff or blowing grass, it would for some reason go through the texture on the pipe for the blower, so you could see the chaff through it and stuff like that. I hope they fixed it. We'll get there eventually. Sugarcane, gonna be a learning experience, probably gonna be a nightmare. Another thing, I've never used one of these. I've always used the trailer one. But yeah, so I guess we'll get into doing the equipment. So, what I did was I looked for something that was a front loader type. And I was kind of bummed that the Stera in the midsize tractors didn't have it, but the JCB did. So we're going to start out with the JCB, and we're going to put narrows on it, and I'm just going to leave narrows on it. Front loader attacher, yes. And then there's what we'll do is we will go to harvesters. Should we buy harvesters? That's the question. To buy or not to buy? This is why I titled it Making Hard Decisions. Or Hard Choices, rather. Because of the fact that it's hard to start out. It's hard to decide which one to buy. And I think I'll buy the Bison. Mainly because of the fact that if you go into trailers and you go into headers, or tools rather, not trailers, tools, the New Holland is more header and combine wise, but the Bison has 4.2 meter header instead of a 4 meter like New Holland. So I'm gonna buy this dude. Since we're in here, we'll buy it for a combine. And then here we will do, let's see here. So, we will go all the way down to the other end, and we will buy this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy this way, and then I'll customize it later. Like, I'll take it to the shop and I'll customize it later. Let's go to cedars. One can cultivate and seed directly. So we'll buy that probably. Or should I? Let's just, with that 3.6. We'll go with this. And we'll go with a small fertilizer spreader. So, how much power does that require? Well, it doesn't require any power, I guess, but it has a PTO. That's one thing that I noticed about the game. Sometimes you'll see a piece of equipment with PTO, which is that yellow pipe attachment on the end, goes into the front or back of the tractor, but there will be no horsepower requirement, which is weird, because I swore this had a horsepower requirement of like 90, 95 on Farming Simulator 17. So, this, because we're gonna lease, I almost said rent, lease before, and since we're gonna do weed protection, which one is the smaller one? We will do sprayer. We will probably lease that too. I just wanted to own cedar because I don't want to run back and forth from storage seed. So subsoilers is where we're going to go though. We are getting a subsoiler because we're going to use that every single crop cycle along with the combine. So we're going to do that. And yes, I know I didn't buy coon, and I said that I liked coon. Weeders. I'm not going to buy a weeder. I'm going to rent a sprayer and buy a tank of spray. That's what I'm going to do. More coverage. And I swear Farming Simulator is going to turn into this thing. I already see it. It's going to turn into it in the future with the people who want you to farm on your live streams. Non-GMO. No chemicals, and the people who want you to actually be a farmer. I swear, I see it coming. It's like with certain current events, you can just see it coming, and oh look, it came true. Like CBS is getting ready to fold, basically, broadcast company wise, because of all the lawsuits. At least that's what I read in an article from Newsweek. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna lease the rest. So we'll get this very, very, very slow combine that I absolutely like over to the shed. And away we go. If you want a map tour, there's a bunch of YouTubers who would gladly appreciate your views. The map tour for Ravenport's been done I don't know how many times. Actually, I do. I've came across 8. If there's more, oh well. One thing that I want to point out is the beacons look like beacons. They aren't a solid yellow, they're a clearish yellow. I like that. And I know a lot of people are probably going to comment, well, they're not yellow, they're orange. Well, the guy who dyed the glass was probably told that he was making yellow glass way back when we started dyeing glass. So, and that's D-Y-E, not D-I-E. D-Y-E. Because I don't want to see a comment of, well, what do you mean dying? Like dying as in color, not dying as in death. So, one thing that I did notice in my playing last night was that the speed limit around the corner back there where it's downhill and to the right at the last moment should be done. Definitely do the speed limit, because I actually rolled a tractor last night on that. I rolled the tractor and knocked a bunch of stuff over. So the game's physics are okay. They are okay in my opinion. Good job. Good job. Good physics. The gauges work, and the pedals depress, but I don't know where the gas is on this combine. I've looked, and I've looked, and I've looked. So like the one in the upper left of the gauges is RPM, one to the right of its speed, and then the other one's multi-gauges. So I'm assuming one of them's fuel, oil pressure, water temp, which probably doesn't work. Which is fine. The last thing we need is to have, like, the weather mod come out and Focus and the makers of this game have hidden a little Easter egg where if it's so hot your combine keeps overheating. A lot of field fires start from that. Be kind of bummer. One thing I forgot to say at the beginning, one thing is if I buy land, I'm starting from scratch, and that cotton and the canola above the cotton field and the sunflowers that I think have been planted on that field over there behind the tree in the shed will be power harrowed away. They won't be there. I'm not going to rent a cotton picker for a very small field of cotton, not common. Speech is not the best of my abilities. Right about it with it. Okay, what I like is that this has front mount on this tractor, and then I can just spin around the other way, around the back up to it, and pick this one up. 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. I'll show you what I mean down here. So when you go down past the white car, if you're loaded, I'd advise braking and just setting up for it, because it sneaks up. Because you see that road to the left there, and you think, oh, it's just a little jog. No, you're going to the right to your farm, not the left, because it's kind of a blind corner up there. And I've taken it at 35, and that's when I rolled it. It rolled completely over under its roof, the tractor. And albeit that was with 2 triple stacked round bales, so it was a high load, but still. I like how the seat bounces around and moves. It's dynamic, like what it would be. It jostles left, right, because they're springy like that, air ride seats. And here we go. We'll set this here. Why it didn't want to until I reselected it, I have no idea. And we'll drop this facing out because of reasons. And now back up to the shop. Like I said, this is going to be a boring setup episode. And we will go back to the shop. One thing that I noticed that was weird was they have downgrade signs almost way before. Like they're before you need them. Like there's one up by the dam on this map. I like how the map has cars parked, like how what I describe as a Astoria, Oregon parking job. That's a nice touch. They leave the rear of their car facing out, hoping to get an insurance claim. Perfect. Perfection. And if you don't know what part of Astoria I'm talking about out towards the Job Corps Center on the riverfront, that section. I think it was called Herman. I'm not sure. We weren't allowed to go anywhere where a map would be, thanks to bad behavior from Job Corps people. So yeah, sorry, my nose itched. It's interesting. Maybe we'll get some missions someday. You can hit the signs, and I just did. Dang it. Every once in a while, my controller, I'm waiting for a new one to come in the mail. My controller will do that without being touched. And yes, I've talked to PlayStation about it. They had no comment. Not even an answer. Now we'll go back and get the planter, and we'll be done running back and forth. No, we won't. Hold on. Because I'll need to buy some pallets for seed, so I probably should have just brought the planter down, because now I gotta take the trailer back up. This is why we think. So yeah. Can I pick this up? Yes, I can. Just move it over. Because I don't want to have somebody comment, oh, you ran over the sign, and it went flipping through the air. Like, oh, this is why this game is terrible. It's not a terrible game. It just overreacts. The AI traffic I noticed, if we have one that comes down that road towards here, you'll see it when it turns at the intersection left to go down and around there. I'm streaming on YouTube! Here it is. Like right here, it goes, and they turn real sharp. And I don't understand why. It's kind of funny to watch. Because you know, a real car would probably never do that when it's moving at that speed. But, anyway. What I do is I cheat. I use the YouTube editor, so afterwards I go back in and I edit all that little stuff out. A little too far to the left. I'm still getting used to having four-wheel steering on these. Okay, now we need to get a pallet fork. So we will get, probably should get this one. Oh, I want to change the color. So, anyway, we will go back up since we got a couple of minutes until an hour, because that's how long I do my episodes. We will go back up and we will grab a couple of pallets of seed and fertilizer, the pellet kind. And that'll be it for this episode after we do that. Going uphill, I can't seem to get it to even go up on two wheels, but going downhill and to the right around that corner, it loves to flip if you don't go slow enough. Spin around, maybe it'll fit like last night. Apparently not, but It's on there now. I like how the train, it makes the world look nicer. Train keeps going even if you're not using it, where it looks like there's an economy. Pallets, big bags, there we go. We want a seed bag and a solid fertilizer bag. We get 2 of each. Come on, quit doing that. I wish they'd fix that. That is annoying. Good enough, I guess. It's not gonna behave this time. And we'll stack the seed on top of one another and fertilizer on top of one another, double stacked. Probably nowhere near how they would actually stack, but oh well. This is why I don't like when it does that. Dang it. So now the pallet's just sitting on the fork instead of in the fork. There we go. There's a strap. This down here. First, it's gonna bounce off because game can't make up its mind whether to break the laws of physics or not. What is it doing? Get out of there. Game, seriously, stop this. What the heck is it doing that for? YouTuber. It's gotta be stupid. The game's gotta be stupid, always. It never does it when I'm not streaming, but it always does it when it does, when I am streaming. See how much of a train wreck this becomes. We only have 4 minutes left. There we go. They're strapped down. And back to the farm we go. Gonna do a California stop. We didn't roll it, so that's good. That's progress. And we're gonna be able to keep this episode within the time frame. 1 hour before editing. There we go. And there you go. That's the first episode of Farming Simulator 19 Hard Decisions. See you next time in episode 2. Screwball1123 signing